Let's strip away the illusion from the start. Light alone is not enough to survive in a world built on shadows. If you believe that virtue, honesty, and nobility will naturally lead to success, then you are clinging to a comforting lie. And the cruelest part? Deep down, you already suspect this truth, yet you resist accepting it. How many times have you extended kindness only to be met with betrayal? How often have you done the right thing, expecting fairness, only to be overlooked or exploited? You've been taught that goodness is enough, that integrity will be rewarded, that justice prevails. But the world does not elevate the pure-hearted. It rewards those who understand the power of the dark. The ones who shape history are not those who merely shine, but those who command the shadows, who know when to hold back, when to strike, and when to conceal their true intentions. Success does not belong to those who play fair. It belongs to those who play well. From childhood, we are taught the idea that good always wins, that honesty will be rewarded, and that acting with integrity will ensure our success. This is the great illusion sold to the naive. The real world doesn't follow these rules. He is guided by interests, strategies, and above all, power. Nicollo Machiavelli, one of the greatest analysts of human nature and the political game, warned us about this. Morality without strategy is weakness, and weakness is a sentence of submission. History gives us countless proof of this fact. Rulers who tried to sustain themselves solely on virtue were crushed by those who knew how to use both the appearance of morality and the need for brutality. The king who trusts, signs treaties, but does not prepare for betrayal, soon finds himself dethroned. The business leader who thinks that good intentions are enough to maintain his position soon finds himself overtaken by a more cunning rival. The truth is that those who triumph are not necessarily the fairest, but those who understand how the game really works. Machiavelli teaches us that a ruler must understand when morality should be used as a shield and when it should be discarded to ensure his survival. A reputation for justice and kindness can be useful in gaining the loyalty of the people, but only when combined with the strategic coolness of knowing that, if necessary, one must act without hesitation to eliminate threats. The mistake of the naive is to believe that morality is an end in itself, when in fact, it is just a tool, and every tool can be useful or a burden, depending on the way it is used. The misconception of many is that domination depends exclusively on brute force. If that were the case, kings would never have been murdered within their own palaces, and empires would not have been overthrown without a single sword being raised. True power is not in decrees, weapons, or fortunes, but in the ability to manipulate the perception of the masses. Machiavelli warns us that objective reality matters less than how people perceive it. If a leader wants to maintain his dominance, he doesn't need to be good. He needs to look good. He doesn't need to be truly loved, but he needs to give the people enough reasons not to want to turn against him. This principle is valid not only in politics, but in any sphere of life, in the corporate world, in social relationships, and even within families. What matters is not the absolute truth, but the truth that people believe. This is how rulers stay in power even after scandals. This is how companies continue to prosper despite unethical practices. This is how certain individuals manage to manipulate their surroundings to guarantee their position and influence. Those who fail in life often cling to the belief that they did everything the right way, and that therefore they should have won. They followed the rules. They were fair. They never betrayed anyone. They never took a shortcut. And they still lost. Meanwhile, they watched those who broke the rules and manipulated the truth rise to the top. But this frustration comes from a misunderstanding of reality. The world does not reward those who follow the right path. It rewards those who know how to play the game. Morality, justice, and honesty are relative concepts within this game. If they are not combined with strategic intelligence, they simply become obstacles that prevent the ascension of those who follow them blindly. Machiavelli warned us about this brutal truth in The Prince. Men judge more by their eyes than by their hands, for everyone can see, but few can feel. In other words, it doesn't matter if you are a genuinely good person. What matters is how you are perceived. If your kindness is not accompanied by strength and control, it will be exploited. Those who insist on believing in the illusion of goodness as a protective shield invariably end up crushed by those who know how to play the game of influence and power. Have you ever wondered why so many competent, honest, and hard-working people remain stagnant while manipulators and opportunists rise to the top? The reason is simple. The world does not value good intentions, but rather the ability to project strength, control perceptions, and dominate the environment around you. The naive live in hope that there is an invisible moral force that guarantees that good people will be recognized and that bad people will be punished. But the reality is different. In politics, business, and personal life, whoever holds power shapes the concept of justice in their favor. In history, kings who were too just fell to more cunning schemers. Companies that insisted on ethics at any cost were crushed by competitors who were not afraid to exploit loopholes in the system. People who always told the truth and trusted others ended up betrayed, exploited, and forgotten. The truth is that morality without power is nothing more than a useless ornament. History favors the victors, not the virtuous. Machiavelli stated that it is better to be feared than loved if it is not possible to be both. And he was right. Human beings are, by nature, opportunistic. When someone notices that you are overly kind, understanding, and forgiving, he knows who can take advantage of you without consequences. See what happens in the real world. Employees who are always willing to help end up overwhelmed, while employees who set limits are respected. The leader who tries to be everyone's friend loses authority, while the one who imposes his presence maintains control. The person who never says no becomes a doormat, while the person who sets limits is admired. Kindness without power does not inspire admiration. It inspires pity or contempt. People fear those who show strength and abuse those who show weakness. This is why many leaders and power figures cultivate an image of unpredictability and strategic coldness. They know that being overly accessible, transparent, or lenient makes them vulnerable. A prince, a CEO, or any individual who wishes to maintain control must learn the art of projecting force, even when choosing to act diplomatically. Many believe that respect is earned only through good deeds and impeccable character, but the real world doesn't work like that. True respect does not come from kindness, but from ability to impose consequences. If you want to be taken seriously, you need to show that. You don't accept disrespect without reaction. You know when to be generous and when to be ruthless. You don't bow down to everyone to be accepted. Respect does not come from blind obedience to the rules, but rather from the ability to play by them when necessary. Since time immemorial, kings, generals, and leaders have tried to answer the question that defines the fate of the powerful. Is it better to be loved or feared? Many romantics and idealists claim that love is the key to loyalty and stability, but this belief does not survive the test of reality. Machiavelli gives us a brutally honest answer. If you can't be both, it's always better to be feared. This statement may sound cynical to those who still believe in the illusion of a fair and predictable world. But ask yourself, how many kind and naive rulers have been deposed? How many companies have gone bankrupt under the leadership of people who tried to please everyone? How many good people have been betrayed and exploited because they underestimated the true nature of human beings? Love is volatile, fragile, and unstable. People love as long as it suits them, as long as their needs are met. But the fear is solid. It commands respect, establishes limits, and protects those who know how to use it wisely. Machiavelli does not propose that a leader should be cruel on a whim. What he teaches is that fear grants control, while love can be withdrawn at any time. If a person depends only on love and admiration to stay in power, they will always be at the mercy of the unstable feelings of others. Love can be betrayed. Love can weaken. Love can be forgotten. But fear leaves a deep and lasting mark. Fear prevents betrayal. Fear maintains order. Fear compels loyalty when all other motivations disappear. History is full of examples of this. Benevolent leaders who tried to rule with kindness alone were easily overthrown. Business people who tried to lead with empathy alone were crushed by more aggressive competitors. People who blindly trusted the loyalty of others were betrayed as soon as they were no longer useful. It's not about being gratuitously cruel, but about ensuring that no one has the courage to test your patience or exploit your generosity. Effective fear comes not from purposeless brutality, but from unpredictability. The most dangerous player is not the one who shouts and threatens all the time, but the one who can act with subtlety and punish with surgical precision. Machiavelli teaches that a wise ruler, he should not be hated, but he should be feared enough that no one would dare challenge him. This means knowing how to apply strategic punishments and demonstrating that you has the power to retaliate if necessary. People naturally respect what they cannot predict. A predictable leader who always forgives, always sacrifices, and never imposes limits becomes irrelevant. Those who maintain a certain mystery, who do not reveal all their intentions, and who act with precision when necessary, become unshakable. Being feared does not mean being hated. The mistake of tyrants is to transform fear into resentment, applying indiscriminate and purposeless cruelty. The secret of true power is knowing when to apply force and when to retreat. Machiavelli teaches that cruelty used wisely can save a ruler, while excessive compassion can destroy him. A leader who never punishes traitors encourages more betrayal. The businessman who never dismisses incompetent employees ends up sinking his company. The person who never commands respect is condemned to be disregarded. In the game of life, you can be loved and weak, or feared and respected. Those who choose the first option almost always end up forgotten or crushed by those who chose the second. The decision is yours. And the art of manipulation. The world does not belong to the most just, nor to the most talented, but rather to those who control the narrative. History is not written by those who were right, but by those who knew how to shape events to their version of the truth. Machiavelli understood that reality in itself is of little importance. What really matters is what people believe to be real. The powerful not only exercise dominion over territories or wealth, but mainly over collective perception. And for that, they dominate the art of manipulation, leading society as a conductor conducts his orchestra, carefully choosing what to reveal, what to hide, and what to distort to achieve his goals. The brute truth is inconvenient, uncomfortable, and often powerless in the face of a well-told lie. He who knows how to manipulate perceptions does not need brute force to gain and maintain power. He uses information as his main weapon. Machiavelli teaches us that the wise ruler must master the appearance of virtue without being a slave to it. It doesn't have to be good, but needs to look good. He doesn't have to be fair, but needs to look fair. The masses do not follow the truth. They follow the version of the truth that is most convenient and comforting to them. Leaders, tycoons, and strategists have always understood this principle. Caesar manipulated the image of a savior of Rome while destroying the Republic. Napoleon used the press to portray him as an unbeatable hero, even after severe defeats. Modern companies shape public perception through advertising, selling false promises of happiness in exchange for blind loyalty. Reality can be cruel, but perception can be manipulated. And for those who know how to do this, it doesn't matter what actually happens. It matters what people believe happened. The mistake of the weak is thinking that they need to be transparent. Predictability is a death sentence for any strategist. Those that become an open book are easily read, analyzed, and explored. True master manipulators never reveal their intentions completely. They leave room for doubt, for mystery, for others to be in a constant state of uncertainty. Look at the most influential leaders in history. How many of them stated their plans freely? How many said exactly what they were going to do before they did it? None. They knew that uncertainty gives power. As an enemy who cannot predict your next move is always at a disadvantage. Pretending to be weak when you are strong keeps opponents unprepared. Pretending to be strong when you are weak prevents opponents from attacking. Stay vague and enigmatic. It causes others to spend energy trying to understand your intentions while you move on. This applies not only to politics and business, but also to everyday life. Anyone who talks too much exposes themselves. Those who reveal their weaknesses invite others to explore them. He who learns to control his narrative can become invulnerable. Machiavelli knew that absolute truth is rarely useful to those who seek power. Instead, strategists use the partial truth, mixing real elements with distortions and omissions to create the perception they want. Great manipulators know they don't need to lie outright. Just select which part of the truth to emphasize and which part to hide. This can be seen at all levels of the power game. In politics, rulers only disclose information that reinforces their authority and omit information that would reveal their weakness. In the corporate world, brands build exciting stories about their products while hiding the exploitative practices that support them. In interpersonal relationships, charismatic people know what to say and what to keep silent to maintain control over how others perceive them. Those who master the manipulation of information create alternative realities where the truth becomes malleable. They make people believe they are choosing freely when, in fact, they are just following a path previously designed for them. Naivety is a deadly poison for anyone who wishes to prosper in the game of power. Believing that the truth alone is enough to guarantee success and respect is a fatal error. Machiavelli teaches us that the truth, it is just a tool, not an absolute principle. If you don't control your own narrative, someone else will do it for you. Those who understand this lesson know when to speak and when to be silent, know when to appear vulnerable and when to demonstrate strength, know how to shape the perception of others so that they always have an advantage. Reality may be harsh, but it is even crueler for those who refuse to accept that the world does not reward the truth. It rewards those who know how to control it.